2020. I'm Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube, filming from home, and I have a special announcement, and then I'm gonna stitch with you guys on Prim Village. So I hope you guys are staying home and having some fun with it. But I wanted to let you know that for FQS Stitch Mania, which is in May, we developed this project. Of course, it's covered, and it is a 5-part series. Priscilla Blaine finished it for me, and it looks wonderful. You just can't see it. So I have it covered with fabric. So the first part is going to be this bird right here. And then the rest of it is all a mystery. It's called Feels Like Home. It's gonna start on May 1st, and if you buy the pattern today, you get a PDF with the supply list. And then what's gonna happen is on every Friday of May 2020, you will get an email, and that email will have the different parts. So there's 5 parts. You pay a fee once. It's called Feels Like Home. It's gonna be a digital pattern, and that gives you 5 different things to stitch on each Friday of FQS Stitch Mania. We also have some thread packs. Everything's in my cute little bag. So this is my Gingham on the go bag. And if you want to stitch it, we stitched our sample on the 25 count Lugana by Lori Holt in the color Cloud. We have a DMC thread pack, classic Colorworks thread pack, a Bluebird Needleminder, which is so cute. It's enamel and it's so cute. And this is what it will look like. So you can see there's 5 parts, and it has the date on it, and so you would get every Friday a different part. And I had some fun with my Gingham on the go bag. I was getting everything ready for Mania. And this is gonna be a tease that only you guys see. So I stitched on the bag, and that is part of the pattern, Feels Like Home. It's, I think, one of the later parts, but it's just a way to show you that you can stitch on the bag, and that's a way that when I grab my bag, I'm gonna know, okay, this is my bag for FQS Stitch Mania, but I'm gonna know that it is for my Feels Like Home because it's got part of the pattern already on it. And it was super easy to stitch on, so when I stitched on this, I used classic Colorworks because that's what I'm using for my sample, but you can use whatever you want. I used 4 strands, and I just used my regular needle. I didn't change to a smaller needle or anything, or bigger needle. I just used the needle that I had in my bag. I didn't do anything special for it. If I was gonna do a bunch of these, I would definitely do it in DMC, but I already had my classic Colorworks out, so it just made it easier. But that's just a cute way, and I think on the pink bag, the bird, which is the first part of the series, would look super cute. So I might stitch that also. We'll have to see. So what I thought I would do today is just show you on Prim Village. Again, this is Lori Holt's pattern, so this is the small version. I stitched this. This cloth is Oatmeal, 25 count Lugana, and then this is the sample that Lori made, and this is her vintage frame that she painted with her pitchfork paint. So I am stitching mine. I'll show you kind of where I'm at. On the Feels Like Home, there is going to be a canvas bag that comes, that you can buy to go with that. And that is gonna be available later in April. It's just not in stock yet. This is where I'm at on Prim Village. And so I've got the top row done. This week I will be working on this row right here, which is kind of like a row of little quilt blocks or stars, and I'm really enjoying it. I am stitching with my Prim Village block. I am stitching with my AuriFloss box, and I'm gonna just show you how I stitch. So this is where I stitch anytime I'm stitching if I'm not in my bed. So I'm just gonna show you how I set up. I've gotten a lot of questions on how I stitch in hand, and so I'm gonna kind of stitch with you and then answer some questions that you guys sent in. So the first thing I do is I have a little lap desk. They're just called lap desks. I got this at Michael's years ago. And so I usually have pillows all over me. So I'm gonna kind of just get set up. I usually sit just like this, and then this couch is super long. So I have lots of room. So what I do is I have my little bag, have my pattern, have my box, and I'm probably just gonna fill in today since, so I don't have to think. So I'm gonna look at the pink house and see what color this is and just do a fill in. So that is color 2230. So I will get that ready. And then I'm gonna go ahead, I have some questions that you guys sent in. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get those questions read and then ask some of the questions. But first I have to find my thread. So this is another example of, this is how the AuriFloss is. And so I've used it before, and this is kind of already, I wound it on the spool and I just pull it off. And that's how I store my extra, so that when I come back, it's already there, it's already ready to go. So I'll put this here. So the way that I stitch is I just pull one strand off. And that's how I usually do, is I just pull it. Of course, it's gonna knot when I'm on video. Let's see. Oh my goodness, it did not. So I'll just cut that. Let's see. That doesn't usually happen, but. And then I kind of just leave my little scraps right here as I'm stitching, and then I'll clean them up at the end. I will put both ends together. I usually leave my needle on the end of my project. I will thread my needle, and then I do the loop method, and I will just start. I use this Halo Go light. You plug it in and it can last for about 4 or 5 hours. So it's gonna be really bright. And I can maybe turn the light off so it's not so bright, but I'm just gonna kind of stitch so you can kind of see my little setup, because I keep getting questions about it, and maybe it will help you. The thing I like about my couch is it's just super long, so I have lots of room. So I'm gonna turn the light off because it's way too bright. There you go. But it's a magnifier, and so I can't really stitch without the magnifier because I can't see that. So I'll get a couple stitches in, and then you can see that I have this big old cloth. I mean, it's a lot of cloth, and so I don't want to mess with all this cloth. So what I'll do is just take one end and just roll it. Sometimes I'll roll it from the bottom too, but I'm just gonna roll it from the side, and I put a little Clover Wonder clip in, and then I can just kind of fold the top up, and that gives me more room to hold on. So I'll just let you, let's see, the first question is from Amy. I am new to cross stitch, and I'm learning a lot about stitching 1/1 and 2/2. I'm confused on what that means. So if you're on Ada, you're just stitching, so you don't even consider that. But if you're on Lugana or linen or something that is double, so like this is Lugana 25, you stitch over 2. And we do have a video we can link to below that shows that. And then 1/1 is if you're doing super, super tiny stitches. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't even worry about that. But I will show you, let's see how I'm stitching, if you can see. I'm stitching over 2 squares. So that is that. And if you're a beginner, I would just kind of start with Aida, maybe a 14 count Aida. Just to start, you don't have to do anything fancy if you're new. Textile Erica said, if you stitch on Aida, there is a count when you use one strand of DMC, and what's the Quaker style sampler and why is it so different from other samplers? Okay, so she's asking on Aida how many strands you would use. So we have this brand new cross stitch key, and so if you are using 10 count, I would use 4 strands. If you're on 14 count Aida, I would use 2 strands. So that would be kind of what you would normally do. I usually just use 2 strands, and that's how I just showed you with the loop method. If you take it and join it and then loop it together, it becomes 2. And what is the difference on Quaker style? So I don't know much about samplers. I know that Blackbird Designs, they're an expert on that, and so maybe they might have some information on that. I don't know much about that. Kay Shockey says, it will be my first time using Fancy Floss, Colorworks. How do I get one strand off the bobbin it comes off without messing up the rest? So I will show you that. So this is the Fancy Floss pack. So I'll just pull one out and show you. So when it comes out, we kind of package them this way. You can take this out. And what I would do is just kind of pull this off. Just pull this off. I would open it. And then you can pull one strand out. And then you can put it back together. So I'm actually gonna put this back together. You can keep one out, but I will just put this back together. And to put it back together, you just put this in through the front and you just loop it around. And what I do is my leftover, after I've stitched some, I leave my leftovers up here so that they're easy to get to. So I will put this back in here. Is there an app to store PDF cross-stitch patterns? Does the app include a view you can reference so you don't need to print the pattern? So I think you can use just like a regular, maybe image software or Adobe or something like that. I actually prefer paper patterns because I usually watch, I don't have an iPad, and I usually watch movies when I'm stitching or listen to stuff, so I would probably get way too confused with too many apps open. So I don't know much about that. So probably I don't really know the answer to that one. P. Chaplin, how do I prevent my Aida from spraying? I only stitch on 14 count. So what you would do is on my, this is Lugana, but I just did a zigzag stitch around, and it is super ugly, and you can see that it's super ugly. So you can just put a zigzag stitch around, or you can put like painter's tape or something like that on the edge. And sometimes I don't even put a zigzag stitch around it. Like if it's gonna be a quick project, I will just stitch. And she says, how do I convert a linen cross stitch pattern to fit a 14 count Aida? So you just take the stitch count. So on the stitch count, you can divide that by 14. So if you have 140 stitch count across, divided by 14, that is 10 inches. So you just need a piece that is bigger than 10 inches, and it just depends if you want how much you want on the edge. I usually leave 2 inches around the edge. Some people leave 3. Little Quilt Song, would you ever consider free shipping to Canada for $149 over instead of the present $200? We lose money on all international shipping, and that will not be possible, especially with rates going up. Crafting a planned life. How do you find time in your day to work on all the projects, quilting, cross stitch, filming, running a usually successful fabric company, etc.? So I just basically go with no breaks. I do like to take a nap. I will say, if I'm home during the afternoon, I will take a little 30-minute nap, and that will kind of help me keep going at night. So I also have to-do lists. I always have a pad of paper. I always have a to-do list. I always have a, you know, what do I need to be doing today? And I just pretty much go. One thing, I don't take a lunch. I eat at my desk or wherever, and I eat in about 5 minutes. I'm getting a lot more done now that I don't have to be a taxi, but I actually miss being a taxi and going to all the things. So I would say I just get a lot done because I'm just super motivated and I guess I just kind of don't stop, which is probably not healthy. ZBL Grin. Do most designers just use general conversion charts between Fancy Floss and DMC? Sometimes it's way off. I've been pulling color up on your shop to see it more clearly. Hopefully your pictures are close. So I'm not sure how designers pick their floss, but a Fancy Floss is never going to be the same exact color as a DMC because it's a Fancy Floss and it is not meant to be the same color. So if a pattern designer uses Fancy Floss in their pattern, I would just kind of go with what they used. But I think they try to be as close, but the colors are never going to be exact. Let's see. Patty Barone, I would love to know where you get those adorable beehive pin cushions you showed in last week's video. Okay, so I got those in a quilt shop in Salt Lake City. We will put a link in the description box of the name of that shop. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but Lori takes me there. And there is, I think it's a husband and wife team that make them. I think the husband does the wood and the lady does the quilting part. So I will put that in the description box. What was your first cross stitch piece? So I learned by a lady named Severine Lackey. She was one of my mom's friends. And I made a little frog. And I did it, it was a half stitch, super thick yarn, and on like plastic canvas. And I remember she had it framed, and I gave it to my dad, and I know it's somewhere, it's in the attic at my parents' house somewhere. So that was my first piece. My second piece was my cousin Ricky, who is now a grown adult. He was born in 68, 78, 84, 1984, so I was 10 years old. And I bought a kit at Michael's with Severine, she helped me, and it was a panda bear. And when he was older, I think he was in high school, and his dad was moving, and I went over, and he still had it, and I told him, don't ever throw that away. If you ever want to throw it away, just give it to me. And it was a hot mess of stitches. It was like all the stitches were going all the other ways. I mean, I remember it was brown and black, and it had pandas, because, you know, I was a little girl, and I like pandas. And I think I was in 6th grade when I made that, if my math is right. When the Home Stitch Quarterlies release, will it be a PDF download? Thanks. So right now we have it planned for a paper pattern, and I will have to look into if we are going to do PDF. I'm not sure on that yet. So Barbara McDonald wants to know what the difference is between Flosses, Weeks, Dyeworks, DMC, Classic Colorworks, all that stuff. So DMC is made in France, and you can get it, the advantages are it's super inexpensive. You can get it at Michael's, Joann's, and of course Fat Quarter Shop. Very inexpensive, 56 cents a skein. It's been around forever. Classic Colorworks was originally a company called Crescent Colors, and Diane bought that from crescent. And she takes a floss, I'm not sure what floss she takes, and she overdyes it. So, and she comes up with her own colors, and then Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts are the same. They take floss, I don't know what floss, but they dye over it, and they come up with their own colors. So I would say the difference is just the colors that they come up with. And I think some designers like Blackbird, they will mix all of them together. They'll do Gentle Arts, DMC, Classic Colorworks, they'll mix them. So it's all kind of preference. Like for example, Priscilla and Chelsea, they like Classic Colorworks. And one of the reasons they like it is they like the dye lot. And they also like that when you get it, it's already cut. So you don't have to bobbinate or anything. It just takes that step out. So I think it's just, it's kind of all the same. It's just based on color. I would say the difference is color. And of course, some of the companies might dye on a different floss type. I'm not sure what they dye on. So that would be the difference. So here I've come to the end and I just kind of go under the edge. My little scissors over here. So I think that's all I'll stitch today. So that's kind of how I stitch. This is my little setup. And then when I throw it back in my bag, I'll kind of just wind it up and throw it in my bag. And on this is a Halo Go Light. You want to make sure this stays closed because if the sun comes in, it can burn. And then what I do is this goes to the side of my bed, between my bed and my nightstand. And then I fold this down, and then it just kind of stays there. It's out of sight, out of mind. It's great. It can just go in my Gingham on the go bag. And just kind of go wherever. Any plans for a cross stitch retreat? So I don't have any plans. I'm not a party planner. That's not something that I'm good at in my personal life. If somebody wants to pay me to go, that might be an option. It would just have to really depend. My kids are super busy and I don't have a lot of time. But if somebody wants to invite me, I can look at my schedule. But I'm definitely not going to host one and put it together myself because I definitely am not good at that. Is there an app Kimberly uses to track how much time she stitches? So I use an app, it's called Time Tracker. And then I put all my information in my little book. So you can see like on this one, Pumpkin Spice Farm, it took me 9.8 hours. And I know that's super anal retentive, but one thing with having this, I can look at a project that I'm about to start and kind of plan and say, okay, let me look at something similar size, similar stitch count, how many hours did it take me? And then that's one of the ways that someone who was asking earlier, how do I keep all my time? I can visually in my head, okay, that's gonna take me 10 hours. Maybe I do 2 hours for 5 days. So I can kind of, by knowing how much time it takes, I can kind of visually figure out in my head how many hours to devote to it a day. But the one that I use is just called Time Tracker. I think it's free. I have DMC thread from several years of collections, at least 30 years worth. How long will it last and stay true to color? I store them individually envelopes inside a dresser drawer. So I think they'll be totally fine. I don't think there's any expiration date. So as I showed last week, if you want to see my cross stitch storage, you can watch the video I showed last week. Before Emma was born, she's now 13. My mom bought me 2 sets of the entire DMC from a store online. And so that's how I have all of it. And I still use it. So I think it'll be probably totally fine. And if you want to know my new hairdo, this is called Teen in Quarantine, that we're bored. So my teen was like, she cut her hair and it looks really good. She cut it and she was like, Mom, can I cut your hair? And I was like, sure. And it is so short and it's like longer by ½ an inch on the side. And so then Kevin was like, I cannot believe y'all did that. And I'm like, I'm so bored. This is why we did it, because we're bored. So it's kind of funny. And he said, well, don't you know that's kind of permanent? And I was like, it's fine, it's just hair, it just grows back. I mean, first of all, it's like a brown. And when she was cutting it, she was like, Mom, your hair's like black. I was like, yeah, it's black. So I was trying to find a place online to buy dye because I obviously don't want to go to the grocery store. And I couldn't figure it out. Like I couldn't figure out because my hair is so dark, they won't send you just blonde. But that's my next thing, is that Emma and I are gonna dye my hair because I don't know that I can live with my hair like this. Heather asked, I've been wondering about your classic Colorworks floss fix, specifically if it will be available for purchase in the future. So on that, we are hoping to be able to open it up eventually. Diana's super busy with doing art stuff, and then she just released that Kringles pattern, and so I think she's probably trying to fill orders from all the different local needleworks shops, and she's a small operation. So as soon, you know, she knows we want to open it up as soon as she can like do it, and obviously this quarantine is not helping the situation. So as soon as she can, we will open more spots. So guys, thanks for stitching with me today. If you have any questions for me, just put them in the comment box and I will answer them. And next week's video is gonna be really fun. Looking forward to it. I'm gonna take all of my 2019 FQS Stitch Mania projects that I finished, and I'm gonna show them to you in one big video. So today I'm gonna be kind of scavenging my house to try to find where I put everything, and that's gonna be super, super, super exciting. So thanks for watching. I would love for you to subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you next week.